Hey folks, welcome to ADSR. I'm Stephen Ellestad. Make sure you subscribe to the ADSR YouTube channel. Follow on social media. So for Halloween, we decided we wanted to change things up a little bit and do a couple of fun little scary sound design and kind of horror and fantasy sounds. And it just so happened that I was working on a short film that is pretty much nothing but that. It's called Circle of Friends. It's produced by Imagination Upgraded and written and directed by Brandon Champ Robinson. You might be familiar with his work. He also produces the Harley Quinn fan web series on YouTube, so check that out as well. So this film will be releasing on Halloween on YouTube in 360 VR, so definitely worth checking out, especially on your mobile device or what have you. In the first video, we took a little bit of a big picture look at the project, and then at the same time, we looked at how we could use Contact as a multi-timbral instrument, create different tonal layers that we can then later on mix and blend as appropriate for the pacing of the music. We also have this cool demonic voice. So let me bring that video up here. It does look kind of weird because we're in 360. And once we're actually rendered in 360, this will be a full panoramic view. And it'll be very, very cool. The basic story is we've got these friends that are having kind of a seance, and things have gotten very, very real, and they're not quite sure what to do. So what's happening here is that this person is now channeling this demonic creature.
Beautiful human. Do you think I'm to be toyed with?
So what's happening here is this demon possesses each of these friends in turn. Obviously, I didn't want to recreate the sound design for every single one of those voices. So the first thing I did was split everything up. We've got our 5 dialogue tracks, which I had chopped out of the audio. And then what I did is I just sent every one of them to this demonic voices here. The demonic voices sends to a bunch of different parallel effects. I've got a vocoder, I've got subharmonics, I've got a pan modulation, I've got some throw effects, which I'll be putting in a little bit later, and they all sum back up into this return track right here. And we can kind of see that the labels kind of show what's happening. So all I have to do is unmute the send of a particular track when the demon possesses that person. So it's muted, it's open.
We're sorry, we thought it was a game. Oh!
Beautiful human.
When they possess this person over here,
Bro, I'm sorry, I swear.
and so what we're getting here is the individual person's voice, and then it's layered under with all these parallel processes.
I am not your bro. I'm Hollow the ruler. You will respect me as such or die.
And that gives us the ability to kind of keep the character of the actor and the voice of the actor, but then still have this continuity between these parts. So let's go ahead and mute everything else out. So everything's coming out of my DX, or my dialogue stem. Let's start with our first one.
Beautiful human.
What we can see here, as this one sends,
Beautiful human.
we're sending out on this channel here,
Beautiful human.
and everything's coming into this return track, which unmutes right as it's time.
Beautiful human.
And then let me go ahead and mute these out one at a time so you can hear what's happening. First, I have this vocoder. I'm using the Isotope vocal synth. I'm only using the vocoder to feed the vocoder, because the vocoder requires 2 signals, a carrier and a modulator. I took a demon growl sound from my sound effects library, and then I kind of looped it a little bit randomly so it wasn't terribly recurrent. And so I can also bring this up in the bed as part of my ambience if I need to, but really its main purpose is to feed on this sidechain 1 the vocoder signal. And I've done some pitch shifting and some contour shaping, so let's listen to that vocoder signal.
Game! Oh!
Beautiful human.
And I do have these sounds, so I'm going to go ahead and mute this. So we don't even really have any speech there. What we do have is something that follows the pacing of the dialogue and adds some raspiness and some real kind of aggressive crunch. when we combine it with her voice, we can actually hear what's happening. In addition to that, I layered it with another copy of Vocal Synth, and this time, instead, I'm just creating subharmonics. I wanted it to be really evil sounding, so I'm using the Polyvox module, and I've got one sub-octave, so it's an octave below. I also created subharmonics at 11 half steps and 10 half steps, so I've got this really nasty ball of semitones way down in the lower register to add this mean characteristic. And then I dropped the formants all the way down an octave. So let's hear that. So we got a lot of really cool power there. Combine that with the vocoder. And once I balance those, we get a really cool, really evil sound. That wasn't quite enough. I felt that I also wanted to get some movement in space, and so I added this demonic voice panning or tremolo modulation effects layer. I'm using the Rob Papin RP mod, and this is just a variation. It's a drum preset that I then mangled a little bit. And so as we manipulate these, we can find a patch that works really well.
Pitiful human. Do you think I'm to be toyed with?
And if I wanted to try something else, I'd like to just start with a preset and then start messing with them.
Pitiful human. Do you think I'm to be toyed with?
So we have lots of cool options there. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to go with that. Let's hear that in combination with the other ones. I'm going to bring the volume down on that first one a little bit and bring the speed down on the second. And so we just get a little bit of motion.
Pitiful human. Pitiful human.
And a nice, and that gives us a really nice little bit of a kind of just subtle movement that we can accentuate or not as we need to. So one other thing that we have in here is a throw effects. I'm using the Chris Lord Algae throw effects.
Pitiful human. Do you think I'm to be toyed with?
But you can create a throw effects with really just about anything. You just need to automate your throw in terms of either automating the send or automating the return or bypassing the plugin, as the case may be, depending on the plugin and the DAW. But just by turning something on very briefly and catching these little tiny bits of delay, we can add all kinds of character. We'll notice that each one of these is also sending to that. And if I turn that one on,
Pitiful human. Do you think I'm to be toyed with?
and I'm not sure I'm going to use it here. I'm probably going to use it on some laughter and some kind of magical effects, but it's a really cool way of adding some just on for a moment type of effects. So all of these demon voices then kind of come into this return. And you see I've got a note in there, and I'm just using an LA2A or a VC2A from Native Instruments to kind of sum and level those all together. I'll just balance them out as I work on my mix, and everything comes back in to my dialogue stem. So that's a real quick way to create a big multi-layered section with lots of parallel processing happening and have it affect different multiple parts. So hopefully you'll find some ways to use that, whether it's in your music or in some poster sound design projects of your own. I'm Stephen Ellestad for ADSR. Thanks for checking this out. Make sure you subscribe to the ADSR YouTube channel, and make sure you catch Circle of Friends, the Imagination Upgraded YouTube channel, premiering on Halloween. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.
Pitiful human. Do you think I'm to be toyed with?